Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. I am always here, Scott Carson, excited to be here with you today. And it is the third Monday of the month, which is Marketing Monday at that point. And we've got Elijah White's Rockstar from Serbian Social joining us here today. And today's episode, as we were just singing different scenes, is all about let's get local. And what do we mean by that, Elijah?
Well, we're going to get local with our marketing. Everything's going local, mobile first. People are looking for stuff near me right now, and as a large set of your users are going to be using their mobile devices, we really need to understand how that affects us, within search, because, well, a mobile device is going to bring different searches than a desktop. So it's important.
So let's talk about this, because we were talking about a little bit more, but first of all, let's have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cheers.
Good morning. Cheers, everybody. If you're in the WCN membership, one of these coffees, if you'd like to have coffee with me every morning, because you know what? Coffee is for note closers.
Yeah.
Always be closing.
Right. Always be. Second place gets a set of steak knives.
That's right, steak knives. Third place is fired.
Fired.
Anyway, for those that are listening on here, we just got some nice green, kind of Grinchy green coffee cups here with the Note Closer Show logo on it. And if you're in part of the WCN membership, you may have one showing up for Christmas for you.
Oh, that's awesome. And I just want to be honest. I think my coffee actually tastes better.
It does. It does, because it's brand new. It doesn't have all the other funk from your other stuff beforehand.
That's what it is.
So I thought about going black, and then I was like, black with a green. I was like, wait a second. It's going to be kind of hard to see the funk in the bottom of a black coffee cup. So we went green, so it matches in with the algae. So good morning, people out there. We got Charles Wilson joining us. Laura Blunt joining us. Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you on here this morning. As always, we're here excited. But let's talk about local, getting local. It's important because I think, I will say that I've been very guilty of not being local, not having a local presence, because the fact is I'm constantly traveling.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean?
But even then, when you're constantly traveling, you have a real opportunity to get local in the areas that you're traveling to.
That's correct. That's correct.
This is like specific content really just looking at saying, hey, I'm going to this town, so I want to talk about this town. You know what? I'm going to blog about my whole entire time there. I'm going to make sure that people know why I was there, what the goal was, what the challenge was while I was there, who I met, the connections I made, the companies I went to. But I'm just going to make very localized, content that I push out there for these areas. Now, this is really how local works. When people search online, I'm looking for this near me. What they're looking for is, well, if I'm in Austin, Texas, and I say, hey, I need, a good tailor in Austin, I'm going to find stuff online talking about the top tailors in Austin. So if I'm going to be traveling to Austin for whatever it is, then, I want to talk about that while I'm there.
Yeah.
And then I also want to talk about where I'm from and why I traveled there. It's the experience. You're building the narrative for people.
So one of the great things I will share with this is when we went to Hawaii last early May, I was flipping through Instagram as we're waiting for stuff to get ready one night, and popped up Millhouse Restaurant in Maui. It was scenic views overlooking this pineapple, plantation, and I was like, oh, gorgeous. We went there. They showed the plates. I went there, tagged myself in it, and I loved it. I was like, oh, this is great marketing. I'd actually give a huge kudos to the management there, because they're like, oh, you must have just figured out I was here or something with people there, because it showed up. And I was like, oh, I need to do more of that. But you're completely right. Like Tom Hazard says here, our boy Tom this morning. Good morning, Tom, from Potted Ties and Feature Brand.
What's up?
Local is relative.
Yep.
And so I have been guilty of not really doing a lot here locally, because I don't have a lot of clients. I don't buy a lot of debt here, but we've changing some things up for 2019. Like, we're going to start a local monthly note closers meeting, networking event with the help of QuestIR, right? They've offered up for us to be at their offices. But I like what you just said. If you're traveling somewhat there, if you plan it out a little bit ahead of time, you can actually share, hey, I'm headed here this year, right? For real estate investors, maybe you see if there's a real estate investment club meeting going on. Plan that out. I'm planning on having live note closer show episodes at different events I'm going to.
Well, and also check this out. So, you know, the internet is so like crammed with so much right now. There's ads, there's all this stuff coming at you, right? So, there's one thing about posting and like, posting just content in general, but when you really start getting like very specific and you get that better stuff, going through your channel. So, for instance, you're traveling, right? So now we're getting like authentic video. You're talking about your experience. Hey guys, we just stopped at this gas station, or hey, we're in the airport, or whatever it is. Now you're showing like an authentic situation where, for instance, an ad doesn't feel that way. A carefully crafted post doesn't feel that way. So I don't necessarily feel like I'm getting a personal connection with you. But now that I'm along for the journey, you're keeping us up to date. You're talking about all these towns you're going into. You're tagging the places that you're going into. You're talking about your experience there. You're leaving a couple reviews. Like one, I mean, you're just building like this big, trail. But again, you're building an authentic moment
experience and kind of sharing experiences, right?
Yeah, and that's actually, and if you're using the hashtags and you're like tagging these areas that you're going into, just like what Scott was saying, beautiful restaurant, tagging the food, all that kind of stuff. They found them, but it was through
Instagram marketing.
Instagram. But check this out. Old school SEO and still today was the same way. You go to the blogs, you go to the forums, someone asks a question, you answer the question, put a link to a relevant article, which happens to be your article, because you're trying to market your content, right? Like building these citations. Social media is in that same kind of realm. When you really start tagging those things, you're building these, authentic micro moments that actually are, heavier watched than something that was carefully crafted. Right.
And that's smart there, because like I think we've all been, we go to something like we tag ourselves in an event and other people, our friends are here, or other friends are at restaurants nearby, or other friends have stayed at that hotel or been to that event before.
Right.
And so let's talk about maybe a couple of things, maybe step-by-step things that they can do as they're out traveling this holiday season or things like that, or for the first part of next year. So like one of the things that we're going to be doing is, I think immediately, because Steph and I were talking last night, what could we have done better for Note Camp? And first and foremost, thank you and Christy, for being a big part of it.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have always done a great job of it here. You were behind the scenes taking some photos and stuff like that. Christy was
photos too.
They're great. And I need to figure, besides your iPhone stuff there, I need to talk with you later about that. But anyway, So if you're going to an event, okay, or you've got an event you're creating in your neck of the woods, let's just say you're going to go into a network event, maybe create an event. Go to Facebook, it's easy to create an event, right?
Right.
And then you can post to it. So if you're traveling there, like, hey, I'm flying in for the event, post a photo there from the airport or on your way out.
Right.
Okay. As you're stopping for coffee, oh my God, this is a great coffee spot outside the airport, or I'm booked into the Hampton Inn, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm going for dinner. Sharing all that stuff adds value not only for what you're doing, but it also adds experiences for other people going there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, great point, right? So you're giving the experience. So maybe I didn't get to go on that trip, but I got to still see all the things that you went on, and so in a way, like I'm involved in this a little bit. I'm kind of seeing like your life behind the scenes. Especially like if you're going to an event or you're going to be on stage or something like that, and people are getting to see like this raw side of you on the other end. Again, it's authenticity, right? People love this. I love it. I like something when I see that it's real. Some of the channels I follow so quick on YouTube is when it's like, oh, this is just legit. Like their cuts are bad, their editing's terrible, because they want to show you like this wasn't carefully done. Like this is just what's happening, right? And it's great, and I love that. So if you're traveling and you can kind of build that narrative, know where you're going to be checking in at. And if you check in at the Hilton, what hashtags are they using? What do they use to tag their business? Because they might give a thanks to you and reshare your post or something like that, right? Yeah. Especially if it's a good image, or hey, thank you for your stay, whatever the case may be. So knowing where you're going, what you should be using on the way, and then give yourself time. Like don't feel like you're going to rush through. Like just stop for a second and say, okay, I can literally take 30 seconds and tell everybody where I'm at, what I'm about to do, and then here's a pan in the front of the building, or whatever the case may be. It's real easy. And just plan to be able to have that happening. Give yourself time, breathe, and just, never get flustered through the thing. And by the way, if you do get flustered, show it. It's fun. I mean, again, it's an authentic situation. We're all business owners. It's good to show like, hey, we're all human. We can do this together.
So I have some good pros and cons of that on all pros on our side here.
Yeah.
Okay. So like literally, I was flying out. I don't know. Every time I go to San Diego, I end up staying at the Dana for the most part.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And so I tag, hey, go to one of my favorite spots. Hashtag them. Well, they saw it. They responded. Okay. They responded. Hey, we're looking forward to having you. When I checked in my room, there was a tray of fruit waiting for me, saying thank you for coming by.
Right.
And then they also included a little social media card, say, hey, if you'd like to share this, here's where we'd like you to share it, and a hashtag we use. Of course, what did I share? I shared it, of course.
Yep.
I love that. Now, another thing happened to about a month and a half ago. I was down in Orlando for the wedding in September for our friends.
Right. Yep.
The night before, I think Tuesday night, I'm at the Orlando Note Closures group that Todd LaPierre has. 50 people show up to it. The next night, I'm going to go to the local Central Florida RIA Club. Okay? Supposed to be 400 people at it. And I'm just going to network. I'm just going because I buy a lot of stuff in Florida. Right. I go in, pay my $20. As I turn around, the president of the club meets me. Okay? The president of the club meets me and asks me to step outside and uninvites me from the event. Because they're like, we don't want any gurus at our event because there was a guru here before who made a big fuss. I'm like, I don't do that. So that's okay. I was like, fine, give me my 20 back. So I went out in the parking lot.
Right.
And I did a Facebook Live about it.
Yeah.
Okay. 1,000 views on the Facebook Live within the first day. And I'm like, listen, awesome. I'm not here to, I'm like, I guess you've officially made it when you get uninvited from an event. Okay. But what's funny is it led to 3 other speaking events that people saw, they picked up on it and said, oh my God, we would love to have you come. Charles Wilson, who's on here, invited me to the Temple one. Right. Laura Maxwell Bullock invited me to the Kansas City one. And then I got another one as well. So that was funny. And I wasn't really bitching. I was like, listen, I would have been glad to do a Facebook Live that would have been a positive video forum with my audience, but they instead choose not to have me because they're afraid I was going to cause a scene. I'm like, I'm not causing a scene. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And and I think, it's awesome that you did that because I think a lot of people, as individuals, I think we're naturally kind of prideful, right?
Yep.
So it's embarrassing to get kicked out of a club, or get kicked out of an event. Like that's the last thing you want is being asked to leave in front of a bunch of people. But at the same time, I mean, you know what you're about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's an opportunity to connect. Like you said, there's a lot of great advantages out of it, and that's the deal. Business is challenging. Like being able to show, like again, it's a authentic. Hey, we're up, we're down. Don't show all the nasty stuff. Like don't show where it gets really negative. Yeah, but remember, like there's everything is every challenge has a solution. Mm-hmm. And as a business owner, it's just our job to take that deep breath and figure out what that solution is. Now, with that, when you're out there, out and about getting that content, I mean, you don't have to show every aspect of it. It doesn't even have to be like really detailed. It could just be like, hey, we're leaving. Hey, we're here. Hey, here's the event. You know what I mean? Like kind of work your way into something, where you're getting, more in depth in there, but it's all great opportunity to get really hyper local. To really talk about that type of situation, to where you went, to put out that post, maybe again, if you don't do video, just blog about it, take some good photos and then just talk about, what your favorite parts were, the food that you ate, tag those businesses in there. All of that kind of stuff is just easy things to do. I mean, and I honestly find it fun. In fact, Google Maps is starting to like tell you every place you did go. So you can even go back and, after a whole long weekend and just sit there for a minute and leave a review for every location that you went to. And I think that's actually pretty cool.
I think it's great. It's instantaneous feedback. Got some comments here. Laura Blanc says, if Flustered is good, I'm headed for $1 billion business. Well, Laura, you are headed for big things because you don't take no for an answer. You're overcoming some things. And then Tom, once again, clicked in here, which a few minutes ago, but I wanted to share this now. Tom says, this all feeds into being valuable as Google shifts to personas. Mm-hmm. Going forward, websites without a persona active on the site will rank lower. Social exposure is great, but you need to use social to get people to your site and drive engagement on your site. Couldn't say it any better than that.
Yeah, actually, and I want to reinforce that because right now, so brands or websites that are branded. Okay, like this site it's in tune with itself. Colors are there. The branding is there. All of the buttons are the same size. Like, you really have like a good user interface. Those websites are actually building more trust with users compared to the sites that did not take the time to do that. So building that persona, right? So you want to, How do you want to speak to people? Are you fun? Are you quirky? Are you a little serious? Like being able to take your website, have your branding, have your colors, and then make sure that your site reads that fun and quirky way, or however you want to come across, is so important. Because again, you took the time to make sure that I had a good experience. And that's really important to me. We all like good service, and your website doesn't change that. And so, yes, I mean, and making sure that that same tone of voice goes to your social media to pull them in. I mean, at that point in time, you really have the foundation for a really solid sales funnel where you can then really focus in on the tactics of marketing that you use compared to, well, you know, should I change these colors? Like, no, just get it down really well. You know, go ahead and just get it uniformed, and then you'll be able to really start putting some quality stuff through there.
So let's give some examples that we were kind of brainstorming while we were getting some coffee for closers. Brand placement.
Such good quality mugs.
So good. Coffee tastes so good on a clean mug. Anyway, we were talking about, like, you know, if you're buying, especially for note investors out there, you're buying an asset in a city. What are the things that go involved with that city? Well, you're going to have a realtor pull comps.
Right.
So one of the big things is you want to maybe get a photo with your realtor, or have the photo, have a good photo, a headshot of the realtor if they're out pulling pictures for you.
Yeah.
You obviously have an attorney that's helping you foreclose, maybe to do a picture or two of an attorney. Maybe you go to the local real estate club there and talk to people there. Maybe talk to the president, or if you fly in, get a picture with some other people there. Find other local investors out there. One of the things that we like to do, especially if we do a mastermind and we have a vendor come in,
right?
Like we'll have Aaron Young come in, and then we ask everybody, say, hey, who works with Aaron? And everybody get up there and take a photo.
Right.
Becomes a good thing when we tag it where it's at, stuff like that. It just adds little things, add value. And I like to call it kind of, it expands your digital footprint, but it also gives you the digital currency that maybe most people aren't doing, but it shows up in your search engines, it searches and other things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, in fact, especially tone of voice, right? So let's talk about that in marketing. So tone of voice. So for instance, you're a realtor, you're or not realtor, but you're an investor, you're going to these towns, like, or these cities, you're pulling deals, like you're working with all these different realtors, pulling comps and things like that. So how do you want to speak to that community? Okay. So like, for instance, is this going to be more of, if I go in there and I'm pulling all of these, am I going to talk more like I'm almost like a journalist? Like, hey, you know, we're here in town and we just pulled these comps. And so you talk about the comps, you talk about the realtor who pulled them and how, you know, great it was working with them. But then you really start showing your expertise. And you start talking about the community and the numbers and what this looks like to you. And, you know, you basically just kind of start talking about the area. From there, when you start getting into the legal side, you know, now again, you know, we're kind of reporting on, you know, the legal process that it takes to do this, you know, what you like about it, what you don't, or, you know, was it easy? Was it hard? You know, however you want to talk about that. But when you go into these areas and you're working with these folks, like, again, tell people about what you do. You know, hey, we help people. We help people by keeping them in their homes. And this is why, you know, we go through all of this hard work to do this. You know, we try to find all these people to come together to make this deal happen. You know, really start showcasing the individuals in those towns. Now, take in mind, if you're buying a house in a city and you're going to actually go there and visit, look up some of the influencers in that area. So some of the top realtors that are maybe working in those communities that, you know, seems like they have a lot of houses going to foreclosure, and like basically reach out to them and see if you can't do something with them. You know, can y'all stand in front of a house on the side of a street and just put a phone on a tripod and record y'all just talking about the community and maybe the challenges they're going through and, you know, how y'all are working together? Like those type of situations, they're really easy to do. But that's where you really start getting ingrained into the community. Now, this is where you really start getting into influencer marketing, because you're basically finding micro influencers in the area who are already involved in the community that you're trying to break into, or you're trying to get more exposure in. So this is where, like, maybe finding that realtor where you start promoting them, you know, in some of these communities as you're doing your deals and talking about how it correlates, because people might not understand what a note investor is, but they know what a realtor is. So being able to look for local realtors in the area and then find note investors and that are hitting the same keywords for, you know, maybe the problem that they're having that they think a realtor can solve, but really you're the right guy. But because you've really reached out to those realtors and you've kind of made that connection with yourself in the community, the chances of somebody finding, you know, the story about you helping somebody stay in their home, or for, you know, keep them from, going through a really challenging point in their life, that right there is really where you can make some big impact on a local level, because you know, again, it's kind of like a journalistic story. It's more on the news side, and you do see a lot of the search engines going more towards a reportive style of content compared to you just putting like a promotion out there.
Think about it's like our friend Coco, who does a Taste of Coco.
Yeah,
she does a great job with it, documenting what she's eating, where she's going, using good photos, sharing stuff like that. I mean, she got picked up what was by Oprah. She was mentioned by Oprah or something a couple times.
Yeah, I think so.
And but that she does it where she's traveling. Same thing if you're going on vacation right this time of year, or you're giving a cool gift,
right?
You know, or you're sharing recipes. Yeah, you know, that's a thing. Like Laura Blunt posted about. She pulled out. It's that time of year to pull out her mother's cookbook.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or the trees, or going for a Christmas party like it's Snow Pea,
right?
You know, or hanging out here.
I've been trying to find my coats.
Your coats?
I don't have any coats. It's cold outside. And
oh
I
yeah.
found my coats.
You didn't sell them all when you were moving, did you?
I don't think I did, but I can't find them. Like,
what size are you? Maybe you'll get one for Christmas.
That's what my wife keeps telling me.
I'm gonna get like a black coat with a No Clothes Show logo on the back for you. Is that all right?
Here we go. I buy my friends free gifts, but they got to promote it.
But that's the thing. I bought all those
okay.
backpacks people are gonna take. It's got the No Clothes Show logo on it.
Oh,
People are excited by it. It's the T-shirts they were walking out.
Yeah.
Right? Selfless, you know. But that's the funny thing is if you tell what you're doing and share what you're doing, people are attracted to that.
Yeah.
People do a lot of crazy stuff for a pair of cheap sunglasses.
Right.
Okay. That's the Christy White's is up there this morning. She says, like, Christy likes to share what she's doing. You guys always like to share what you're doing at.
Yeah.
For the most part, unless you're on the down low.
Yeah, there are times where you're like, I got to get away from it. But, you know, here recently, actually, I've been, and I haven't actually put too much of it because I've been swamped. We got a lot of platforms going on, a lot of cool stuff hitting the market right now. So, but I've been every day just recording like me, like, hey, so today, this is what I'm doing. I give a recap of my day. So the cool part about this is I give basically a game plan of where I'm going. So throughout the day, if I just take a little video here and a little video there, and like I'm walking across a bridge, I see that, I'm like, oh, that's cool. So, you know, when I said, hey, today I'm going into Austin, I'll be in downtown, and then now I got clips of like me just walking. I'm not trying to get in front of the camera every time.
You're gonna be like Ty Lopez, all around the camera.
Yeah, I don't want to just say,
oh, look at the shit you just took. I haven't turned from you lately.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Well, you know, and as you know, as a inspiring filmmaker, you know, we're not garbage collectors. You know, we don't just have footage to have it. You know, we want to be able to use it, right? But you know, being able to kind of give that recap and then, you know, hit those main points, get a couple clips here and there. I mean, it's just a great way to show people you're out about, you're in the environment, and at the same time, if you're interacting with the community and then they start interacting with you, like that's even more power to you. And you know, here's the thing, you're already walking around anyway. You probably already got your phone with you. I mean, a lot of times you pretty much have your phone with you at all times. So take a couple little videos, or even just see some of these cool things that, you know, that you look at when you're in public and say, oh, that's interesting. Tell people about it. I mean, it's quality stuff that you can do while you're out and about. So this is stuff that you can do on a regular basis. But, you know, if you do a lot of events and you're pretty busy on a regular basis, you might just say, hey, I only do this for events. I just kind of talk about more of me traveling because, you know, I really want to build a persona of I'm someone who's international, right? There's nothing that can hold me back. Like I'm all over the place all the time. I'm getting good exposure in every city I go to. So I only talk about all the places I travel into. And then maybe when you come home this is where you do the recap videos. But, you know, taking on that, hey, travel, this is my set thing. Right before I leave for my trip, I do a video about what's about to happen, you know, and I catch X amount of clips, you know, between that and I arrive wherever I'm at. Now I've arrived, I do a quick little, you know, couple-minute video of that I'm here, and, you know, just see what you can catch there in the process. But I mean, you got to start getting those towns, tagging where you're at, taking good video. You'll start to see that the restaurants, the hotels, they'll share your content, you know, unless you like are a total a-hole.
So and a great example is Steph took some photos when we were traveling on a cruise or last year. Anyway, we were at the Four Seasons Nevis. Okay, and they've got a beautiful walkway that walks through these palm trees. Palm trees that walk over out to the pier that goes out in the ocean.
Right.
And we were on there walking around. She took this great photo, but didn't share it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, send me the photo, send me the photo. So then I shared it and tagged Nevis. Well, then they reached out to us to say, hey, can we use your photo in our marketing? Can we share your photo across our platforms? Of course, of course, I said, yeah, sure. And then somebody like, well, you should have them give you a free stay. I'm like, there's no reason for them to give me a free stay. It's a photo. They get people that share photos all the time. It's better for me to share versus them. It's not a big deal. They're going to have millions of that thing. But that's the thing is, if we had never shared it,
right?
Now they've done it 2 or 3 times we've been there. They've shared our photos that we've tagged them in and stuff like that. So if you get a second, take a few seconds, look at what the social media, because more and more companies, more and more entrepreneurs, businesses are becoming very active with that aspect of it, because they realize it's just great, like I say, digital currency across the digital footprint to help you out there to get the word out what you're going.
Well, and it's just better. It's better content. Okay, I want to be clear on that. Posting stuff just to post it doesn't work, right? You have to have a reason to go out there. Like you don't just get a bunch of flyers and not have a plan on where you're going to post those flyers, right? Because it's just a waste.
So I'm gonna go to every hotel and put it on the windshield.
Yeah, right, yeah, because that's what's gonna make people happy.
Yeah,
I'm getting local in the community. Yeah, don't do that.
And then it rains, and then you gotta like reach out there, pull it off, and it tears. Yeah,
yeah, you don't want to do that at all. But it's better. So let's look at this. Brands are focusing towards a better user experience. I mentioned earlier that there's so much out there. There's AdWords, you're getting hit, local everywhere. You go to a website, there's ad banners, there's all this kind of stuff, right? It's almost becoming to the point to where, unless we're looking for something specific, like you better just be good enough to catch our eye, because there's so much we can't pay attention to it all, right? We're not taking it all in. So a better experience, a better authentic piece of content is where you're really going to connect with brands now and individuals through social media and through the content like that you post on your website and all these other channels. So what I would suggest to all of you is, when it comes down to getting local, see how you can reach out to other organizations, other companies. Hey, you work with realtors, throughout the town you're already living in, do a guest blog with them. See if you can't get on there and talk about your industry and how it pertains to them, and how maybe they've helped you through some, these challenges or whatever the case may be. Reach out to, some of these different professionals, see how either one, you can guest blog with them. They can come on to and have an interview with you, and then you blog about your experience with it, whatever the case may be. But get into your community, get involved in some of these nonprofits that do different stuff. Like, start getting good, authentic local content out. This is going to be in your community, or maybe it's not really your thing to get in front of the camera, but every time you go to a new community, you like to support a nonprofit while you're there. Like, it doesn't always have to be about maybe it's the note investing. It can just be you as a human being, just living life, being an entrepreneur, being on the road, and doing what you're passionate about. Because people will connect with that, and they'll build trust with you as an individual, and then they'll buy your product. Then they'll want to spend that money with you, or trust that you can take care of a sensitive situation for them.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job of that when you were out traveling, doing the travel, right?
Yeah, it was. We were all over the communities, man. And we still have tons of stuff that I'm super excited for the new year.
So let's talk about some of those things in the new year. You got some platforms and things like that you're rolling out.
Yeah, so we have so the biggest thing I would say on my docket right now is the Serving Social Marketplace. So that's it's been a long time coming. So this is going to be where I would say it's where users can manage their marketing the easiest. I mean, entrepreneurs, business owners, CMOs, you work with marketing agencies, and they pull everything all underneath that one roof. So you kind of know what's going on, you kind of don't know what's going on. You have hours, you have this, you have that. But I mean, this is really going to allow you to say, hey, do I need all of this? Maybe I want to spend, $1,000 this month, but maybe I only want to spend $500 next month, because I know there's going to be some ways I got to move money around. And as business owners, that's what it takes. You're managing the business, you're managing your marketing, your home life, and everything else, making sure everybody gets paid and you still have money in the company, right?
Right.
And so because of that, we wanted to make that platform a little simpler in that process. So it's going to be like the all-in-one, I think, marketing management tool for entrepreneurs, business owners, that type of thing. We already have some agencies doing some beta testing for it right now, so that's been pretty awesome. But it's just, this was supposed to take 6 months, and we're 2 years into it. So.
Well, but you've had a few left turns along the way, and adjusted some things though too, right?
Yeah. We hit some bumps and some potholes.
That's all right. It happens. It happens there, but we're excited about that too. Yeah. Can they check it out right now? Is it live on servingsocial.com?
It's not live yet. So this is going to be one of those things where if you want to stay tuned, I mean, definitely reach out to us, Elijah@servingsocial.com. You can always email me. I know that we have a sign up form for anybody who wants to just go to our website now and just sign up for the newsletter. You can stay up to date with everything that's coming out. So that way, if you want information as soon as it launches, we can get you there. And also too, we do have beta programs that we're always working on. So anybody who really wants to get involved with us on that aspect, we're more than happy to bring people in and have be a part of some of these areas where we need some help. Y'all need some help. We can make it a win-win together. So, but yeah, servingsocial.com, or you can always reach out to me, Elijah@servingsocial.com.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. I'm excited about it for you guys too, because you guys put a lot into it. Let's see here. Shannon says, bumps and potholes are part of the journey. We have had them too. Everybody does.
Yep.
And then our buddy Jeff, the Wolfman, asked if you are related to Chris Evans.
No. Certainly not. Some have said that I look better than him.
You look better than him, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure, everybody. That's good stuff out there.
No one's actually said that.
So let's do a quick recap. If you're traveling this holiday season, we talked about, Christy talked about on Note Camp 6 about kind of planning out your schedule.
Yep.
So if you're traveling, look at where you're going to stay. Look at some of the things you're going to do. Probably some restaurants or events you're going to. Okay, like we get so much social media exposure with these 2 weekends a year that we do with Note Camp. People sharing images, they're sharing videos.
They had some good ones this year.
Oh yeah. We had some really amazing
good ones this year.
Yeah, but the thing we try to do that with our guests or our students, our campers, is to get them primed so they're doing that in their regular business, their regular 24/7 a day investment clubs. Don't get me wrong, we love the exposure, the hashtags Note Camp, but they need to go back and start doing that on a daily basis for themselves, sharing what they're doing, sharing the deals that they're working through. Take pictures of the properties that you're making bids on. You don't share the addresses because you don't have a contract yet, but sharing that, or sharing a realtor that drove by the property for it, pull comps. There's little things that you can do to really help invigorate and grow your local audience, even if it's remote from where you're at or not where you're local, right?
One last thing. Be creative. You can even go as far as, be creative every morning, kind of give that little chant, in the mirror.
Be creative.
Exactly. Because don't conform to what everybody else is doing online when it comes down to the content and stuff that you see out there. Like, be yourself, be creative. If you want to put a sock puppet on your hands and now you're the puppet note buyer, be that.
I am puppet master.
You'd be surprised on how many people would watch you, and on top of that, you might even find you're not even doing deals anymore because you got a puppet on your hand, but you're now YouTube famous. I mean, there's crazy shit that happens. Oh, pardon me, pardon my French, but there's crazy stuff that happens. Especially when you really start engaging and letting yourself just be, yourself online. And there's a lot of freedom that comes with that as well. But be creative. Don't conform because you saw somebody else do something. Because, hey, listen, they're already kind of doing that. So you got to set yourself apart a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So, figure out what that is. I know that's kind of vague, but be creative.
Exactly. Love it. I think it's a great spot to wrap up this episode of the Localized Show. Thanks, as always, Elijah. Big shout out to Christy as well out there. Once again, guys, check it out. You can go to their website, servingsocial.com. I usually spell it servicing social because I'm typing servicing all the time, but it's servingsocial.com.
Yeah. People always say, "Is social serving?" I'm like, no, we're not.
Servingsocial.com. Check out what Elijah and Christy have going on. Follow them online because you guys do a really great job of sharing your local footprint and what you're doing on a regular basis. So you don't just talk it, you walk it.
Yep.
Awesome. Guys, we'll see you guys later in the next episode. Have a great day, and we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.